Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk and getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and today we're going to take a look at the Thunderstrike Stormcasts. Now in this video we're going to go through, talk a little bit about Thunderstrike Stormcast on the table, look at some units we can use to start our force with before looking at other units to expand upon after our initial purchases, and finally finish off the video with a little sample warband of 1000 renown for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Warcry warband for the Stormcast Eternals of the Thunderstrike. Now, with all of these brand new order rules, they are free to download at the moment from Warhammer Community. I'll leave a link in the video's description so you can go find them. Now, this Thunderstrike is the new range of Stormcast Eternals. This is everything that came out at the launch of 3.0 and beyond. So things like Vigilators, Vanquishers, Vindictors, Annihilators, Lord and Periton, Knight Relictor, all of that sort of stuff is included in here. Now, with this warband, like most Stormcasts, they are well-rounded. They can have access to shooting, combat, good defense, some good offensive units. They generally lean to a more melee approach, generally with a little bit more of a defensive play in mind, but they do suffer from the ability of just being low in numbers. They've got a really cool reaction as well, which means your opponent actually takes damage when they manage to kill your models off, which is really cool. And just, you know, when your models are worth so much and you're getting so few of them, the fact you can deal some damage when being taken out of action is really useful. And so to get started with, I think a great place to start with the Thunderstrike Stormcast is the Lord in Periton. First of all, he is a really solid fighter. You're going to get 30 wounds at toughness 5, which is really nice. You're then going to have both some nice melee attacks with 2/5 on the damage and a strength of 4, and also some strength 4 ranged attacks as well with his Stormcaller baton. Which is really nice. But his big thing for me is his nice ability that he gets, which is called Coordinated Strike for a triple. This allows him to pick a number of visible friendly fighters equal to half the value of this ability and allow them to either move or attack, and you can make any combination of moves or attacks that you wish to do. Now, alongside him, Vindictors are a great place to start. Now, if you're not ready to jump into, say, Warhammer Age of Sigmar straight away, there's certainly a couple of ways we can get these models cheaper. First of all, you can certainly find a Lord in Periton on a second-hand buy, swap, sell site, something like eBay or stuff like that. But also, the Vindictors, you'll have other ways to grab them. This paint set here that GW do actually is a really cool way to get into the hobby. You'll get a couple of Vindictors, which you'll need, and then you'll get some paints to paint them up with, along with a paintbrush as well. A nice little cheaper way to get into Warcry with your Vindictors. Of course, if you're going to aim to play Warhammer Age of Sigmar as well, I'd suggest just grabbing the big box of Vindictors or looking at some of the starter sets and trying to split them with a mate who wants Cruel Boys. Now, Vindictors are pretty solid. First of all, you're going to have a nice defense of 5. They've not really got too much to them beyond that. They are nice, solid battle line troops for you. Are pretty cheap in comparison to a lot of your other units, and will just fill your nice battle line roles well. Moving on to what can we grab next, let's look at a couple of different heroes, and the first of those is the Knight Relictor. First of all, the Knight Relictor, like most of the Stormcast heroes, is pretty solid. 28 wounds and 5 for his defense. 4 attacks at strength 4, 2/4 on the damage is pretty solid in combat as well. But his big thing really comes from his ability, which is a triple as well, called Purifying Incense. This allows you to, until the end of the battle round, subtract 1 from the damage points allocated by each hit and critical hit to a minimum of 1 from attack actions that target friendly fighters wholly or rather within 6 inch of this model. Now, I've also got the Knight Vexillor with Banner of Apotheosis, as this does some nice healing as well, with a double instead for Plant the Banner of the Reforged, remove up to D3 damage points allocated to each friendly fighter within 6 inch. For me, there's a couple of things that I like about the Vexillor better. The first of all is he's using doubles, not triples, meaning we're going to have access to models that are utilising both our doubles and our triples that we roll up. Otherwise, the Knight Relictor and the Lord in Periton will get in each other's way. Moving on to some units we can look at, and there are definitely some good options for the Thunderstrike Stormcasts, but I really like Vanquishers. The army is low on models, so Vanquishers have a really cool ability they can use for a triple, which is called Vanquish the Horde. This allows them to deal damage to a lot of different enemies around them. You roll a dice for each friendly or each enemy fighter within 3 inch, and on a roll of a 3 to 4, you allocate a damage point, while on a roll of a 5+, allocate a number of damage points equal to the value of the ability. Pretty nice stuff, allowing you to sort of deal with hordes a lot nicer there. Lastly, we have Vigilors. These are a ranged unit available to the Stormcast Eternals of the Thunderstrike. You're going to get 2 shots at Strength 4/2/4, which is pretty nice. Strength 4 shots are really good at range. Like, there's not an awful lot of sort of baseline troops that are going to be packing that. They're generally going to be on, your much more powered up models. But Vigilors also have a nice ability they can use for the army, which is going to be for a triple as well, Guided Lightning, where they can add one to the attacks characteristic of units that target a unit that was shot at by the Vigilors. Pretty nice stuff. You've got some well-rounded units. But let's look at this all in practice and see a little sample warband. And so here we have our sample warband. We've got 2 leaders in the force, the Lord and Periton, who will be our champion. Doesn't make sense any other way to run him, plus he is the most survivable. The Knight Vexilla with the Banner of Apotheosis. Like I said, I've gone for that over taking the Knight Relictor, who would make a great third choice. If you are going to play in slightly higher points, he would probably be where I would go next. But the Knight Vexilla with the Banner of Apotheosis, using the double, I think, just puts him that little bit higher than the Knight Relictor. And so he's able to do that. Meanwhile, fighters, we've got 2 Vindictors. Like I said, that little paint box at the start of the video, you're only needing 2 for this warband, so you can definitely use that as a great, easy, and cheap way to get in. A Vanquisher and a Vigilor make up the rest of the force. I think the Vigilor is really important. Along with that and the Imperator, we're going to have the ability to do some range damage, which I think is going to be important, and the Vanquisher can help, take out mobs of really cheap troops fighting things like grots or other cheap sort of troops. The Vanquisher can hopefully start to deal a bit of damage and be used to sort of take out those threats. Meanwhile, your Vindictors are going to be your objective grabbers. Good defense, they're able to just sort of sit on objectives and go and get them. 985 points out of 1,000 renown, so you do have some room to wiggle around with. And 138 wounds is slightly above average, though not much, which is pretty good considering you don't have many models. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comment section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lauer, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi390, and to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nicofire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now, everyone.